Hey everybody, this is Frilioff and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the Just Vanilla server. Today we're in a swamp and I've managed to find a witch hut, and it's something I've been looking for now for weeks. Well, I finally found one. Unfortunately it's not very close to the base, so we'll have to work around that as we need to. But I managed to find a decent witch hut that's surrounded by lots of water. I've dug quite a bit of the ground out now and removed quite a lot of the trees. I've also, as you can probably make out, dismantled the witch hut that was here and replaced it with the 3 spawning bays, the 3 spawning floors. And I've put a decent sized, oh, you can't see it because I'm underwater, look, put a decent sized roof over the top of it, which now means that all of those flooring, all of the spawning floors now have got a light level of nothing. Which is just what we need for witches to spawn on there. I have removed the lighting and wandered away for a few seconds, and witches do spawn on there, which is something I was worried about for a while. Before I put the roof over the top of it, I couldn't get a witch to spawn on there and I was quite concerned, but I spent the time... Was that a witch? Did I hear one then? Or was that just me being all nervous? I did spend quite a lot of time, as I say, without witches spawning on there, and I got concerned and didn't want to do any work on it. But I spent the time putting the roof on, and I can hear a witch, and witches started to spawn. I know I can hear one. Maybe it's just my imagination running riot. So what we're going to do today, hopefully, is build a decent witch farm. Now, most witch farms that I've looked at either involve redstone clocks or switches. You know, the trip switches with the trip hooks and the wires and everything. Well, mine, I don't like the ones with the trip hooks because as soon as something spawns on a level, the water's activated and it stops anything else from spawning on that level. So unless you get a glut of them spawn all in one go, you only sort of get one witch at a time. So I prefer the clock method, but I've got a slightly different take on it because I don't want the clocks to all click at the same time. I want the clock on the bottom and the clock on the top to activate, and then the clock on the middle not to activate. So there's always a spawning pad free. So if the middle pad is being flushed, the top and bottom one aren't, and if the top and bottom one are being flushed, the middle one isn't. So there's always a pad for the witches to spawn on. So I'm hoping that'll give me better rates. And I've also got trying to describe it is going to be almost impossible, but basically, to AFK by a witch farm, you need to be 128 blocks away from the bottommost part of the farm. And usually the bottommost part of the farm is 32 or so blocks below the farm, because all of the witches fall off and die, which means that you're only 90 blocks above the surface, which means a lot of the caves underneath here are going to be active and mobs are going to be spawning, and guys over there like that, skellies, are going to be spawning on islands unless you've dug them all out. But certainly unless you go caving, and it's really difficult to get all of the caves, spawns on the pads aren't going to be as good as they could be. I'm going to try and eliminate that problem by having the witches flushed off into a trough and then raised up 40 or so blocks before they're then dropped back down again and killed, which means I can AFK 120 blocks above here, and then none of the surrounding area, none of the caves, none of the land over there, nothing else is loaded, because any mobs that are loaded outside 128 blocks instantly despawn. And by raising the witches up first and then dropping them, I might have a problem when it comes to getting through there. I should be okay though. I'll just use dark blocks and that should be fine. But by raising them up first and then dropping them to kill them, it eliminates having to do loads of caving. So hopefully hopefully I'll be able to do that. So drop down my little kit and start getting my stuff out. So, because water travels 8 blocks, I'm going to add an extra block, probably this end. I'm probably going to add it this end. And this is for the water to initially fall onto. So we'll have some pistons, and then the water's going to fall off the pistons when they're activated and then flow this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So we need some pistons. I'll try and do a level while you're here, and then I'll do the rest when you're not here. Yeah, is that right? That's right. So we want to row a line of pistons. Now above the pistons is going to be some water, and then obviously once the pistons are activated by the clock, the water's going to. If we just start spawning on here, I am bang in trouble. Once the pistons are operated by the clock, the water's going to, which is here, is going to fall down and then float across the pads, which is the idea. So we need some pads. We need some blocks at the back to put our redstone on. I'm using slabs. You don't have to use slabs. You can use solid blocks, I suppose, but I'm using slabs and lily pads. And then down the sides, I'm going to need to put. I've got to cover the sides up with. I'm going to use grey stained glass. Now again, you can probably use any colour you want. Because we've got the roof on, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to black the inside out. Let me grab some more glass. Loads of ice as well from my ice farm. That was dead handy. Do that side, and then we'll do this side. Right, we need to put a bit of redstone down. So we need some torches, we need some dust, we need some repeaters. So all of it's going to be powered via a line of redstone at the back. And then if we do that and then have some repeaters in the middle, we don't have to use repeaters on all of them. There's going to be a slight delay. These pistons with just the redstone are going to go down, I don't know, a millisecond before these ones do, but you'll hardly notice. But by doing it this way, with the redstone in between, we could use repeaters. If you've got a load of repeaters, use repeaters. You don't have to use. You don't have to just use redstone. So now that goes up, and we can put the water at the top. Now I'm going to have to put, I believe, a solid block. Yeah, I've got to put a solid block at the back. Which do I have? Do I have solid blocks? I'm gonna have to use slabs, aren't I? Unbelievable. Suppose I could just use top slabs there, but then you'd be able to see the water from the back, and don't want to do that. Right, so that's that. Now if we put water in here, in the shape of some ice, which I got from the farm. Did I tell you I got that from my farm? Perfect. It was fabulous. It's not going to wash those away, is it? So I don't have to worry about those for a minute. So now, just assume that we've got, you know, we've got a clock here and it's ticking away. It'll turn this redstone lamp torch off. Oh. Yeah, fail of the day. Double check before you do anything like that, boys and girls. Let me go and pick my gear up. Epic fail. I've not done that for a long while. Gotta make you laugh. Right, start again. Pretend that didn't happen. That's how not to do it, clearly. Right. So anyway, we'll assume that that didn't happen, and just to show you, obviously when all that gear is out the way, the water will come right to the end, and anything that's on that platform is going to fall off, and we're going to stick a chute here, probably, that's got water in it, and it'll funnel the witches down to probably here, and then they'll get raised up 40 or so blocks, and then they would fall to their deaths. Look at that. These zombies, the new AI on the zombies is, they can spot you from miles away. They can. I'm sure he wouldn't have spawned in the water. He spawned over there and he's made his way over here. So anyway, there you go. Clock turns back on again. Water stops. But once these have been turned off, it means that the ones on this level are going to be turned on, and you do that by obviously having some kind of torch tower. I'm going to wish I'd bought some blocks in a minute. Right, so we'll do that. Then we'll have that, and then we'll have some more of those, and then possibly one of those. And then on this level, we need to do exactly what we did on the bottom one. So I'll do, obviously correctly this time, and not leave a load of blocks missing. I'll do what I've done on the bottom on the next two levels, and then we'll have a shufty at it, shall we? So I've got all the redstone in up the back, and the pistons are in, and everything's all encased in properly this time. And I've run a length of redstone over to a switch here, just so I can demonstrate how this works. I am convinced. They wouldn't be spawning up there, would they? No, they can't. It's upside down half slabs. And I've put a switch here just so I can show you how it's going to work. So at the moment, the bottom floor and the top floor are both being flushed, but the centre floor isn't. So witches can spawn on the centre floor. When the clock, the hopper timer over the back somewhere flicks over, the top and the bottom floor stop being flushed, and the centre floor starts to get flushed. So anything on the centre floor is going to get washed off, but witches can spawn on the tops and bottom floors, and we'll do this every 10 seconds or so. That should give us enough time to get the witches to spawn on the floors, and it'll flick again. The centre floor unflushes, and the top and bottom floor flush. And hopefully, using this method, we'll never have a situation where all the floors are flooded, so nothing can spawn, which is fabulous. Right, I need to knock together, and I say knock together, I need to put together some kind of hopper clock now. Have I got any stuff on me? I'll move all this in a second when I finally get around to doing it. If you know what I mean, I won't leave it there is what I'm saying. I need that, we need some of those. Need some comparators. Have we got comparators? I've got a redstone box and I've got no comparators. Right, hold that thought. Right, as if nothing had happened. Where were we? Right, we need to... figure out which block I need to go into to start with. It's this one, isn't it? Can't beat lily pads when you're working on water, so we need, that's going to be a blob of redstone, and here we're going to have the hoppers. So I need 2 hoppers pointing into each other, so we need one there, and we'll need one there. I need need a block underneath it, just there. Get rid of that one underneath because they do look ugly in water, slabs do. That's going to be a comparator, which I like to go and fetch. Comparator, that's going to go into a block. Just got a bit of dust on it, and on top of that, we're going to have a sticky piston. So I want the same on this side. One of them and a couple of these. Blob of dust. Blob of dust. One of them, and on top of this one we're going to need a block of redstone, which again I know I've got. Blump. A block of redstone, like so. So once that is once the clock pushes the redstone over this side, it's going to turn, it's going to switch the clock here about all over the place. So I need some stuff now to go in there. What shall we throw in there? Let's lob in some of this, because nobody likes netherrack. It's useless. I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know how many. Oh, that's not working, is it? Oh, it's not working because I've got that turned on. Full. Right, try again. Alright, excellent. Perfect. So every, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. Maybe I'll shorten it. Maybe this is just a little bit too long. But that's perfect. So once I get rid of all of my gear and the lighting under there, we're going to start getting witches on the spawning pads, because I've already seen it happen. So now what do? We need to start now. I need to get rid of all of this, and I need to put the chute in at the front that funnels all of the witches down this way. So I'll get rid of all of this. And once it's gone, we'll start putting the glass on the front. So we've got our chute in. And all it is it's just a glass chute at the front that obviously once the witches fall into here, they'll get funneled down the end. I'm not too worried about them trying to get back up there again. If they get back up there again, if it happens too often, then maybe I'll do something about it. But at the moment, I'm not too worried about it. So they'll come down here and they'll go into a water elevator. Now, I'm not worried about having to put air spaces in this water elevator because witches have got the potion of water breathing, so they can take the potion. They won't drown like other mobs will. So this has got to now go up a sufficient amount of space of blocks in order for them to go across and then fall down at least 32 blocks. So before we do anything else, I think I'll start by putting the killing floor over there somewhere and work backwards. At least then I know that my 32 blocks is high enough above for them to drop down on. So if we have the killing floor at this level, we'll have them come up here. They need to go across 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the killing floor is going to be here. So if we then have, we'll stick some repeater, we'll stick a hopper in there leading into droppers, and then we'll put a massive item elevator that goes all the way up to where I'm AFKing, all the way up there where we're going to move the nether portal up there as well. And that way the witches are going to fall down, they're going to die, the drops are going to go into a dropper, and they'll go all the way up to me. So here, this one is where we need the killing floor, don't we? So if we just build, if we build up 32 blocks from here, we're going to have to go through the solid block here with dark blocks in order to keep the light at a decent level. We can't have light coming through. Actually, we'll do all of it. If we do all of it down the bottom with solid, then it's not going to cause a problem, is it? Okay, so I've done the glass, the chutes, the chute bringing them up and the chute taking them back down again, and I've put a bit of stone slabs around the top, hopefully to stop the light getting in. I'll have to check the light when I go down there and remove all of the lamps down there. And I've put some water blocks all the way up here. So hopefully, once I break all of these, it'll take me all the way back down again. I'll stick in a sign, and we should be ready to go. Worried about a bit of lag actually. I need to put one in here though before I go too far down. Perfecto. Right, let's get ourselves down the bottom. I don't need this, come on. Oh yeah, that's what we need. Luckily, these ghost blocks are a right pain, but if you know where they are, you can actually right click on them. And as long as you're clicking on the block next to the ghost block, it'll actually reveal the block. So it's quite a handy little tip to know. You don't have to keep logging in and logging out. Right, so now we need a sign there. And that should be it. I should now, in theory, be able to get rid of all of this stuff that's in here. So let's go and let's put a lot of this gear away that I don't need. Get it out of the way. My redstone in there. All my glass in there. All my ice in there. We should be able to pick all of this up now and hopefully get out of the way quick enough before the witches start coming. Which is the best way to go. Probably the best way to go is up, isn't it? I can't. If I go up, I'm going to leave some building blocks. But if I go down, if I come down, all the witches at the top are going to see me and go absolutely mental. Let's get rid of these to start with. Maybe I can get rid of these lanterns without causing too much grief to myself. I'm going to have to log up from the outside, aren't I? Get rid of them while there's a bit of water and then I stand a chance. Right, block up, block up, block up. Come on, block up. Right, now, is that dark enough, do we think? Block light 1. It's not as well. I am actually outside the area, so hopefully that should be good enough. If it's not, I'll come around and titivate it later. But that should be good enough for now. That doesn't help because that lights up everything. I have a flint and steel, so I'll actually dismantle that. So now the light should be next to nothing. If I move away, we might be able to see this working. Let's grab a lily pad to stand on. Might need to do something with the redstone lighting on the right hand side. That's obviously causing a bit of light. Actually, that's probably causing a lot of light. So we're going to leave it there. I'm going to sort out the lighting issues and we'll get it working in the next episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to leave it a like, and if you've really loved it, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. This is Fully Off outside my new witch farm, and I'm out of here.